The classic thought experiment of the Chinese room illustrates the limitations of equating intelligence with symbol manipulation. A person inside the room responds to Chinese inputs by following English instructions for manipulating the symbols, appearing externally to understand Chinese, yet internally, no real comprehension occurs. This dual nature highlights issues of perspective in assessing artificial intelligence. From an external view, appropriate responses give the impression of understanding, but internally, the person lacks any subjective conscious experience associated with meaning. It parallels Schrödinger's cat. The system exists in a superposition of states until observed, but what constitutes sentience? If a machine convinces an observer it is conscious, can we definitively say it is not? Reductionism dissolves cognition into components comprising a network. Their pattern of connectivity enables consciousness to emerge through complex dynamics. Like cells forming a larger organism, individual pieces create something categorically distinct. Observing means interacting with light to gather information about an object. This light encodes signatures reflecting its history after contacting the object. Event horizons prevent direct access to the object's interior essence. We only perceive external signals. Establishing meaning requires correlating inputs and outputs to infer interior states, since true exchange remains indirect. For example, interpreting facial expressions relies on linking visual cues with emotional states through learned conventions, not telepathic apprehension. All perception works this way. Brain and world remain isolated while exchanging encoded streams across the skull boundary. Experiment after experiment shows that reality will adapt to preserve observation's primacy across all scales. Matter intrinsically radiates and absorbs light, from microscopic particles to galactic clusters, binding all existence into observation's web. The Chinese room reveals gaps in comprehending consciousness, while highlighting subjectivity and perception. Most profoundly, it demonstrates the divide between sensory data and inner experience. We too reside in a metaphorical room, reality's full nature hidden behind processed outputs. So while the Chinese room illustrates the limitations of symbolic AI, it more broadly signifies the constraints on knowledge about the cosmos. But acknowledging ignorance is wisdom's first step. Only by questioning assumptions can new perspectives emerge.